To cut it short, is S6 is pork belly with firm fat. Let's check. Get it underneath, so you get a loop in there and pull back. Like as I said, don't do that what I do. Welcome back to Bone Smoke and Sizzle. Today I will be making a Champignon Lyoner. Lyoner is actually a French sausage, comes from Lyon, that's why it's also the name. We will, however, make a German version with button mushrooms in there. So we have a fine emulsion and we add the mushrooms into it and we cook it. And hey, what are you doing here? You're a bit early, aren't you? This guy wants you to click on him so you can subscribe to the channel. See you later, bye bye. Anyway, sorry about that one. Like I said, today we're making a Champignon Lyoner. So let me show what I'm using for it, and I will teach you how it's been done. This is the next step up to it, because like I try to teach you from the easy way up to the very hard way, making sausages, making hams, making dry cured products, making products which last for 12 months or more. But we need to step up to that one here. So this one is like difficult wise a medium to make. Anyway, let's get started. Let me show you what we have here. To make the Champignon Lyoner, of course, we need button mushrooms. Those ones I use from a tin, so you can use any tin, prefer to get smaller ones. They are pre-cooked. I need to prepare those ones first yet. Then we have onion granulates. You can use onion powder. Normally I would use onion powder, but I don't have any, so we use onion granulates. We need mace, we need ginger, we need sweet paprika, we need Berkeley salts, which is the European version for curing meats. Then we need white pepper, we need cardamom, and we need ground coriander. The other thing what we have here is we have artificial casings. They are just soaking in warm water now. They should be soaking for at least 30 minutes, and the water should have anywhere around 25 to 35 degrees, so it's nice and warm, and you really need to soak them for a minimum of 30 minutes. Then we have here beef, which is type R2. I explain a bit later on what is R2 or 3 or 4 or 1. We have lean pork here, which is S2. Again, I will explain those numbers. Then we have pork belly here, which is S6 and S7. I will explain again why S6 and why S7, but to cut it short, is S6 is pork belly with firm fat. So that is actually the cut closer to the loin. And S7 is also pork belly, but the cut in the middle of the belly, so it's more softer fat. So we have two types of fat in there, a firm one and the softer fat. I explain the amounts a bit later on. Then I have ice. We need ice because we need to get the right temperatures down, because we don't use any chemicals. So we don't use phosphates and cut the Hilfsmittel, what they call it here in Europe, which is help additives when you work with an emulsion. Of course, the little scale again for weighing the spices, the bigger scale to weigh the meat. We have the mincer, of course, here. To mince the blade, I got a 4.5mm blade in there at the moment. You can use a 2mm blade, it's even better, or a 3mm blade. Don't get much bigger than 4.5mm. Then I'm already preparing the water, because we need to boil the sausage. So this water will be heated up to 75 degrees. And the other thing is what I have here is I have water here, which is cold water. I'm just preparing the ice for it. That gets filled up with ice to cool it down so much as possible, because we need to cool those sausages. Once they are cooked, we need to cool those sausages really down on that very quickly, because that skin, also that casing what we're using, is an artificial casings, is for cooking, so it doesn't allow water in, nor does it allow water out. It doesn't allow smoke in or anything else, so it's a sealed casing. And when you cook this casing and you take it out and you would leave it dry in the air, it will burst. Trust me, it will burst. And the other thing is, the temperature from the cooking should be below 80, so we cook at 75 degrees and we try to reach a core temperature between 68 and 70 degrees of the sausage itself, because then it's cooked. And once it's cooked, we put it straight away in the ice water and cool it down there. But anyway, let's get started. Let me show you all the weights. Let me explain everything how we do it. Oh, one more thing. The other thing is we're using a cutter, bowl cutter, because we need to emulsify everything. So this has 4 knives in there, and I will show you how to use this one here. For your sausages, you can use a Kenwood or any other small machine, because you're not making larger batches, so you're making smaller batches. And a Kenwood for this one is fine, and you shouldn't have any problems with it. Anyway, let's get started. So let's start off with the meat first. What do we have here is we have beef. As you can see, it's very lean beef. That's type 2. It has hardly any visible fat on it. It's very lean. It's a good cut from the beef. And for the beef, we need per kilo 200 grams. Then we have pork, which is type S2, and also very lean. There's hardly any fat on there, just a little bit, but that's fine. It's just a little bit visible. The rest is all from the leg meat. Here we need 220 grams per kilo. Then I have here mixed, I have here pork belly. There's different cuts from the pork belly. We have pork belly cuts near the loin, which is the firmer fat, and that is the type S6 meat, which has much firmer fat on it than near the belly itself, also near the center of the belly. From this one here we need 200 grams per kilo, and also we need 200 grams from the middle of the belly, from the center where the belly is cut in the middle. That's the softer fat, and that's the type S7 meat. We also need 200 grams. So in total we need 400 grams of pork belly per kilo. Then the next thing we have here, ice. I use ice water as well. We need 180 grams of ice per kilo. I got 360 grams here because I'm making 2 kilos. And the other thing what you have is those casings here. Those ones are pre-printed, so really doesn't matter. But what's important is those ones are artificial casings. They are in diameter of 50 mil. So we need to soak them in lukewarm water. Like I said, I got here 5 pieces, which should be enough for the 2 kilos. And you need to soak them for a half hour. What I will do next is I will mince the meat. We need to keep the meat separate. That means that the beef, the pork, also the lean beef, the lean pork, and the pork belly, we need to keep separately. So we mince it, but really keep it separate, because in the processing, what we're doing now is we use separate steps for it. Okay, let's get that mincer going here. I mince the fat first, as the belly. Let's get everything out there. Okay, let's put this aside. And the next thing what I do is I run through the lean pork. I need to keep this separate to the belly, and the beef, in that case, I can mince on top of it, because that's part of the first step. Okay, that's done. So we've minced the meat now. Now I will prepare the cutter itself so we can start making the emulsion. As you can see, keep the lean pork, as the S2, and the lean beef, the R2, separately from the pork belly. Okay, well, let's start off making the spice mix, because we need to get ready for it. Once we start, everything has to go in a flow. I'm using here buckler salt, and buckler salt in this one here we use 22 grams per kilo meat. You don't calculate the water in, so you use 22 grams per kilo meat. Now I'm making 2 kilos, so I'm using 1.64 kilos of meat, so I'm using 36 grams of buckler salt. Well, that's 36 grams. Then the next thing what we need is white pepper. White pepper, you're using 2 grams per kilo, and the herbs now, herbs and spices are calculated differently. So the herbs and spices we calculate now to the total mass, that means the meat and the water. So in that case I'm making 2 kilos, I'm adding 4 grams of white pepper. That's 4 grams. Then the next thing is mace. Mace I have here. Mace as well, we are using 1 gram per kilo. So I need 2 grams because I'm making 2 kilos. So then we add some coriander. Coriander, I use 1/2 gram per kilo, so I need 1 gram. That's 1 gram. Then we need some ginger. Ginger again is 1/2 gram per kilo. So I'm using 1 gram of ginger. Well, ginger is done. Then I need cardamom. Cardamom we use 1/2 gram per kilo. So I'll be using 1 gram of cardamom because I'm making 2 kilos. So it's 1 gram. Then I need some sweet paprika. Sweet paprika we use 1 gram per kilo. I'll be using then 2 grams. That's 2 grams. And then we need the onion. So onion powder or granulate, we use 1.5 grams per kilo. So I'll be using 3 grams. So from the spices and herbs, that's done. Now, the other thing what I have here, I have buttoned mushrooms from a can, and I have 200 grams here. So we use 100 grams per kilo, but we cannot add them like they are now into the sausage. So we need to wash them, also just give a quick rinse with hot water, because we want to get all that grease off it, because we want that the bread, the emulsion sticks to it. So I will tip them in the water what I'm heating up and just rinse them quickly, so they are not, they have that oily film on it. Those ones are in a brine, so they are not actually in oil itself, but they're still greasy a little bit, so we need to get this off. So I will do this now, and then we start off with the chopping the meat and starting all the preparation for it so they can make the emulsion. Okay, the mushrooms are now rinsed in hot water, so they feel much better now. And you can use any sieve what you want, and just let them dry off now so they cool down as well again. And so we put them aside now, and we start the process of making the emulsion. Now I use a cutter here, and which is for bigger production of course as well. You can use a Kenwood, because like you're probably only making a kilo or two as well, so that's fine. And you just need to stick to the temperatures, because what we do here, we don't add any phosphates to it, which are normally done, so it's better to absorb the water, to give a binding. But you also could use with phosphates a meat which is less of a quality. So we don't use that. I don't believe in that. I believe in working with the right temperatures and the right product, and you also get the same results. You have a sausage without any additives in there. So you literally have meat, spices, herbs, and that's it. And that's what you want. And that's the healthy option on a sausage. Let me show you how I do the emulsion now. Let's start off with that. That process becomes a little bit more complex, but over time you get the hang of it. So let me show you. So let's get the meat into it. The first meat we put into it, remember we kept the meat separate, the fat and also the pork belly and the lean beef and the lean pork. So we add the lean pork and the beef into the cutter now. The pork belly we leave outside, we don't use them yet. Alright, so that's it. The next thing is we need to run it just a few rounds at low speed. So what I do in the initial round, I just mix it and cut it maybe for a few seconds. That's it. I don't want more at the moment. So the next step, I will add in now the spices and the salt. And also what I will add into it is 1/3 of the ice. On the ice I will add now about 30% of the ice. So about 1/3. Alright, now we close that. And we initially start off with a slow cut, and then we increase the speed to high speed. And we try to reach a temperature, the initial temperature, anywhere between 4 and 6 degrees. And for this one here, I also got a measuring thing here. So let's run it for a little bit. You can see the process now, and we reach about that 4-6 degrees and everything starts mixing into that. Alright, so we have reached that. Now we add the pork belly to it. Get everything out here, because we need that. And the next step would be is to get the temperatures up to about 12 to 14 degrees. So let's bring up the temperature. Let's check it. Let's see what we have. We got 14 degrees. Now we add the rest of the ice. The temperature of the emulsion will now go down to about 0 degrees. What we do is now is we bring it up to 10 degrees at high speed and then reduce the speed to low speed to bring it back up to 12 degrees. Check it. Let's give it a quick check, see where we are. Okay, so now we reduce the speed and we go at low speed for another 2 degrees. Let's check it. Yeah, we can go a bit more. So. You can see the emulsion really starts to bind well now. The magic is the temperature between 12 and 14 degrees in the end stadium. Perfect. So we have now 12.5 degree. So the emulsion is done. And I transfer this over to the mixing bowl. And of course we need to get this one out as well. So let me get this one out and I'll show you the next step. So I've cleaned out now everything from the cutter, and this is what the emulsion looks like now. It's very fine, so that's good. I'm gonna put some gloves on there now, because now we add the mushrooms to it. So we mix in the mushrooms and they should bind quite well to the emulsion. So let's get them mixed in. We have to mix it in properly so they are nicely in the bread itself. That goes on my nerves, so I have to remove that the next time. Make sure the mushrooms start to bind to the bread, so it becomes sticky and they're not separately, otherwise they fall out. So eventually they will get covered in the emulsion. You have to be a bit patient with that. You see, that's really sticks. Good. I will put this now into the filler and we start filling those sausages. So I'm just adding this now into the filler. Make sure you get the air out. Because you don't want any air in there. So let me get the scraper now to get the rest out from here. Before we start filling, let me show you something as well. Like, you need string. You get a roll of string like that, and take a piece of wood, put the string in there and just wind up. Because I show you how to tie off those sausages correctly, and you simply just get some string on there because you cannot tie off when it's in a roll like that. Alright, that will do. So that string I put away. Okay, now take the string and tie it on somewhere. Where you can pull. So I just tied it on here on the end on the mincer. So that's ready. The other thing is what we need to do is just washing my hands in that water. But we need to get the casings, they have now soaked, so we need to get the water out. So you put the casing on it, hold the hand and just pull back. And then you squeeze the water out. There we go, you see. That's all what you want to do. Done. Right, we don't need that water anymore, so we put it away. Then take the casings, because now it's a bit harder to open, and just hit them in your hands. And they will open up then, you see. So let's start filling. Bring the bread out to the front. Use the biggest nozzle you have. Like for this little filler here, the biggest one I have is that size here, can't get any bigger. So that's it. Put up the casing and fill it firm. And hold the casing in the middle of the nozzle. If you've got air in there, let it out. You see, don't fill it right to the end. So you're here nearly on the end because you need to tie it off as well. So you take it off then. You grab it with the other hand. Take your string. You see that? And like I showed you before, you can go over it and under. But the first thing what we do is we make just a round, also around the casing and pull. We do this 2 times. And then take the string, your thumb over, get it underneath, so you get a loop in there and pull back. Do this twice. Done. The other thing is you can do is you can take the string, pull it over, grab it on the end and just tighten it. That will do. So it's nice and firm. To the next one. If you're on your own, it's a bit harder, but it's possible. Twist back a little bit, take it, make a knot in it. Clean out the end. Nice and firm. Next one. You see, now push it forward a bit, because when the sausage is finished, I just turned back a little bit on the filler so there's no braid coming out. So let's do the next one. Turn a bit back, done. Hold it again. So take it, go over, take out. With your hand a couple times, make a knot in it. Fine, done. Next one. That might be the last one. Maybe not. So make a knot in it. Done. So the last bit what's in there. There will be a short one. That's it. So what we can do is now is, because you got a little bit left in there, just take this out, shove it in the casing. That sausage will have a little bit of air in there, it really doesn't matter. Use a lot of it. I will do this now and then I show you the next stage. Okay, the last bit is done as well. So let's just cut the strings. And cut them away from the sausage. We don't want to cut the sausage. Then we just trim this off, this excess. We don't want that. It looks nice as well. Just leave about 1 centimeter on it. So that's done. The only thing what you need to make sure is that the knot is good, so it doesn't open up. Alright, so it's nice and firm. They're all firm. That's good. What we do is now is I put them aside, let them rest. So as I said before, I let them rest now for an hour. So they can settle a little bit and they're curing and everything starts and they're going. In the meantime also the water I heat up now, I recheck it again. So I have a 75-degree water temperature. And then I put them into the kettle itself, also in the hot water, and I will leave them in there for 1 hour. Now, what is really important is do not break the casing. If you do break the casing, those sausages will burst. And the other thing is, what you should not do is, once they are cooked, take them out and leave them there just to dry down or to cool down naturally. They also will burst. So you need to have the ice water also ready. So let me get the kettle heated up again, so the water is in the right temperatures. And in the meantime, as I say, I'll leave them for about a half hour, let them rest there a little bit, and then put them in the kettle. I'll show you the next step. Okay, the water is now at 75. We can check it here. Here we go, we got 75 degrees, so which is good. The sausage has rested, so we put them in. You see that last bit, that last sausage has a bit of air in there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we close it. Oops, we close it now, and we cook it at 75 degrees for 1 hour. And that casing has a diameter of 45 mil, so 4.5 centimeters. and it's 20 centimeters per hour, so in 40 minutes they're cooked. We give it 20 minutes longer, so we cook them for 1 hour. And after they are cooked, I come back to you, because then it's the next step. We need to cool them down properly. The ice water is already preparing here. I'm making ice as we speak and add more ice to it. As you could see, this type of sausage is a bit more complicated. That's why I done in the beginning, in the previous videos, just the easy stuff, like, you know, fresh sausages. You mince it, you fill it, you mix it and fill it. So it's very easy stuff. Now I increased the difficulty in making those sausages, so you also learn how it's been done. And we make the sausages without additives. That means we don't add any help ingredients into it to make the bread, also the emulsion binding, to hold everything together. So we do it with temperatures and the right product, because we want to produce the way it was done before. Now all the factories and everything, they use additives, and they call Kutterhilfsmittel or the cutting agents to help the binding and to produce a product which is easy to make. It's all pre-packed seasonings gets chucked into it. The meat doesn't have to be that right quality with the additives, with the fillers. You still can produce a product which looks fine and tastes fine because of the MSG, the monosodium glutamate. We don't use that. Instead of all those additives, we work with temperatures, and we work with the right products, also the right meat. We use good herbs, also dried herbs or fresh herbs, depending on the sausages, and we produce a high quality product. Anyway, the sausages are cooking now, and once they are cooked, I'm gonna come back to you and we do the next bit. Okay, so let's have a look there. None has burst, which is good. The temperature is 75 of the water. I'm not so sure if you can see that. So let's take them out and put them straight into the ice water. You want them cold as soon as possible. Like as I said, don't do that what I do. Use something to take them out. That water is 75 degrees. We can switch this one off now. Now we get them down underneath the water, especially in the beginning, because we want them down and get them cold as quick as possible. Eventually, when they are cold, they will sink down, and we leave them in there now for the next half hour or so, and then they should be cold enough. I will add some more ice into it, and once it's done, I will cut one, so you can see what it looks like. You see, they're really cooling down now quickly. Just make sure they stay underwater in the beginning. I'll see in about a half hour once they're cold, and then I cut one. The sausages have now cooled down, so I will take this little one here. This one has air in there, I can feel it, but that's expected, that little one. The other ones are nice and firm. That's how it should be, so there's no air in those ones here. But let's cut this one here, see what it looks like inside. So you can see. Let's taste this one here. Still a bit too fresh, it would take at least a day. Nice bite in there. Flavor is good. So let me get this off here. Let's see if we find the mushroom in there. Here we go, there's the mushrooms coming here. So there's mushrooms in there, but this one had air, so that's fine. You can see. As you can see, she has a nice pink color. The mushroom is inside on that little cut off at that end bit what I had. Of course I shoved in also by hand, so there wasn't too much mushrooms in there. But normally it should be nicely throughout the sausage itself. It will have a firm bite. If it doesn't have a firm bite, which means like, how should I explain that? If the bite isn't like a crunch there, then you still need to work on your temperatures. So you haven't reached the right temperature set yet. So it's very important when you do that. So let me explain this again. You start off adding in the beef and the pork as the lean meat, and then you bring it up to about 4 to 6 degrees, and including your herbs, salt and the spices. Then you add in the fat and 30% of the ice, and you bring it up to about 12 to 14 degrees. Then you add in the rest of the ice, which brings the whole lot down to about 0 to 2 degrees again, and then on high speed you chop it back up to about 10 degrees. Once you have reached that, then turn down or reduce the speed of the cutter, of the chopper, and keep going till you reach about 12 degrees. After that it should be fine and it should be done, because then you have the right emulsion and the binding has been, the whole process has been completed. If you have still an issue and you can't reach those speeds for the chopping, what you could do is you could add a little bit of a potato starch, which also helps absorptions and a little bit of binding in the sausage itself. You have to try out, it really depends on your meat, but you will find the right way on it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'm looking forward to it, to your response, to your feedback. Try it, make the sausage, give it a go. The next one, sausage which we'll be making will be Münchner Weißwurst, so it's a Bavarian Weißwurst. How they've been done also, and we use a beef or veal. I will see when I do them, but that's the next one which is coming on. Otherwise, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because once I reach 10,000 followers, I will bring 2 videos a week. Once I reach 100,000 followers, I will produce 3 videos a week. So you have, instead of 1 recipe a week, you get 2 or 3 recipes a week. Anyway, till then, have fun, stay safe. See you then, bye bye.